What's good, tea people? This is Denny from TDB, bringing you guys InBetweenIsode number 17. Making a mess. Boom! We've got a 2014 Yunnan sourcing ripe. This is the Montang Hong, number 3. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce this stuff. Don't judge me. I'm just some dude who loves tea. This is really nice. I've actually had this already and wanted to bring it on because I wanted something a little bit more standardized that I kind of knew what was going on with this. Really pretty. I'll show this to you guys like this. Let's do it this way. Nice big old hunk there. We probably won't use all that. Oop. We'll use a good chunk of it. Maybe we'll use all of this. Why not? I don't want to use too much. And one of my favorite parts about this tea is that it is so loose for such a young tea. So I'm going to break it up into about, I don't know, 5 or so medium to small sized chunks. I'm call that good. Put this back. Got some folks in the background. I started trying to get this going as the rain was pouring down. Yeah, it's only just slightly torrential right now. The rain here in Bogota, Colombia goes wild. And at this point, it's actually relatively sane. So before it was absolutely cacophonous and quite a torrential experience. And nothing is finer than a cup of ripe on a crappy day. So I'm gonna let this soak for quite a bit of time here, just to get it really warmed up and nice and flowing. I kind of go on and off about this. Sometimes I like to get more of the progression of the viscosity and flavor throughout different steepings. Other times I just let it soak forever for the first rinse and not even rinse it more than once, which is what we're doing right now. Just kind of depends on my mood. It also depends somewhat on the quality of the tea. If it's super nice and super expensive, I might do a little bit of a flash rinse, another flash rinse, and then start brewing it. If it's a really roasted oolong, probably going to rinse it for a longer time just to get it going a little bit faster, even if it is a higher quality tea. So I've been rinsing the whole time that we've been talking. Throw this in here. Really straightforward and simple. See what this will smell. So it's much more of an herbal ripe. It's got classic characteristics, a bit more plummy than it is cherry-y, not as much vanilla, more herbal stuff, more kind of like rough bark flavors going on. Told you. Really pleasant. This tea I really enjoyed drinking the first time I had it, and I'm stoked to try it again. So. And for the actual steeping, I'm going to call it basically there. Boom, boom. Show you guys what I'm working with right now. So here's the liqueur. Nice and light. You can see there's a little bit of particulate and sediment on the top of there, maybe. Kind of hard to see. And then the leaves themselves. Nice and dark. You can see that just by the volume of the gaiwan, the leaves have expanded dramatically. You may be able to hear, if not visually see behind me, not only the guy that is behind me working outside under the shade thing, but also the amount of rain that's about to fall down. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. Alright, let me give this a taste. Cheers, guys. My good friend Andy is currently in the room, and I'm smiling because there's some dude outside who's blessing me and you guys with his appearance.
Shirtless, beautiful.
Shirtless, beautiful, working hard, crazy day. So I'm gonna pay attention to this time. It has kind of almost like an oceanic smell to it. Kind of almost like, I don't know, beachy, kind of minerally. Maybe like a hint of sourness. I think that this first steeping is probably not the best one. And also I'm using a fair amount of leaf, so it's going to be a little bit more intense. That sourness will come through a little bit stronger. It's also young, okay, so this is a 2014. And that definitely will calm down as it ages. But out of the gate, this is performing really well. It's nice and viscous, it's thick, it's got that plum stuff going on. It's got a little bit of that sort of barky, sassafras stuff happening. It's still light, you know, this is still the first steeping, but it has a really nice kind of lasting mouthfeel to it. It's not tannin, it's not super mouth puckering. It just kind of has like a nice sort of kind of nice mouth coating viscosity to it. So I think that texturally speaking, this is definitely a fun tea in that regard. Eating some of my tea. So good. First steeping, not the best one. Now the Gaiwan is actually nice and hot at this point, and the leaves have expanded completely. So you saw the pour, and we're gonna call it there. Boop. And hey, let's pour it a little bit high, make a little bit of a mess, cool it off a little bit faster. Let's give it a smell. It's more oaky now, got more of that brandy stuff going on. The plum cherry thing is kind of balanced out. Not as much of the oceanic kind of sour weird stuff going on, which is good. Yeah, nice and I got more cherries than plum at this point. I think this tea is nice and well balanced. And there's a really great mouthfeel and lasting flavor going on. And they kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of like, oh, there's this stuff still in my mouth, I can still taste it kind of a thing. But I'll show you guys the liqueur really quickly. It has definitely darkened up. You can see there, come on. And then the Gaiwan is basically half full. And it's nice and dark. And I think that for this tea, it's going to really shine in steepings 3 through 6 and kind of die off. But I'm impressed with this first steeping already. So, cheers, guys. It's still nice and light, but it has that. So whereas the mini tuos that I did last episode were kind of a little bit, I kind of described it as like white tea almost in how light it was. This has like a lasting mouthfeel, but it's not like drinking a latte, you know, which is kind of just like weighs you down. So there's plenty of kind of viscous oomph in this, but it doesn't have that like bleh kind of thing going on. I don't know, some people like, I used to like a lot of lattes. I'm not as big of a fan anymore. Really strong on the cherry at this point, and the oak. Almost maybe too much, interestingly enough. I think that maybe it could be losing a little bit of the complexity, but the flavor profile is deep in that kind of cherry vibe. Not as much vanilla, a little bit more, again, of that kind of barky, woody sort of stuff going on. You know, the finish is really interesting. It's not that it's got a very flavorful finish. It's almost like the finish is more of a physical kind of a thing. Again, it kind of has that like lasting mouth texture thing happening. So it's not as much about like the complexity of flavors evolving over time. It's more about having this tea, having a sip of it, checking an email, and then coming back to your teacup, realizing you're still kind of tasting the tea in some ways. I love that. So this gets my vote for a daily drinker, for sure. This is definitely a great tea for this age. I think that it would do well with a strong first rinse, and maybe even a strong second rinse too. It was a little bit funky at the beginning, but now it's definitely kind of opening up and getting a lot better. And this tea will last quite long, so I encourage you guys to check it out. Thank you, Scott, for the grab bag full of tea. It's totally awesome. I've been enjoying drinking a lot of ripe. For more in-between-isodes and tea musings, check out tdb.org. Check out yunnansourcing.com for a great variety of all sorts of different teas from the Yunnan. Lots of amazing ripe and raw pu'er, as well as a bunch of great teaware and other stuff. Scott's a total boss, so thanks, Scott. Looking forward to meeting you, man. I'll have to make it down to Oregon, or you'll have to make it up to Seattle at some point. Excuse me. And of course, click on some of this stuff down here to subscribe and, you know, whatever, sign up to get all these videos in your inbox and stuff. Check us out on tdb.org, sign up for our newsletter, where you actually get videos in your inbox. James is now publishing a little digest of our content that way, so it's a cool way to connect with us. Comment on the blog, comment on the YouTubes, let me know what you think, let me know what you want me to shoot next, and until next time, enjoy your tea, guys. Cheers.